Writing is non-essential in our lives, which is why it's one of the first things that gets pushed back when your to-do list is a mile long. And this repeats itself again and again until you finally realize it's been like over a month since you last worked on your novel and you can't even remember what you were writing at this point. Hi fellow creative, welcome back. Today's video is all about how to write consistently even when you have a busy schedule and writing seems like the last thing that could possibly get done. If there is one piece of writing advice that I feel like beats the rest, it's that writing is a skill, which is obvious enough, but it's something that you need to practice it to improve, and you need to regularly stretch those muscles to not lose what you've already gained. For example, my goal when I graduated college was to write a novel, but years passed and very little progress had been made on this book. And I would go months without writing it, without even touching it, because writing was so low on my list of priorities that I never got around to doing it. Sometimes it's not even like you're procrastinating the writing on purpose, it's just not a priority. And now I'm at a point where I write nearly every day without much thought because I've kind of built those habits of writing on a consistent basis. So if this sounds like something you're struggling with, here are some of the tips that I've kind of come across. Shift your mindset. A lot of times we can set goals that we know logically we can't reach in the time span we allot, but we still set these goals anyway because there's something we want to achieve. Shifting your mindset is about understanding your limits, knowing where your limits are. Like if you are working 2 jobs and you have 3 kids, maybe making a goal of writing an hour every single day is just not very feasible. Instead, it's better to work with whatever you have going on, with whatever works for you. So even like 5 minutes of writing a day is like still progress. And some days when you're really busy and you set the goal of 5 minutes of writing, you just kind of get lost in it and you start writing thousands of words. And some days you just write for the 5 minutes and that's it. And either way, you're still continuing to use those writing muscles and build that skill. The second tip I have is to make it easy to start. So knowing where you're going to write and maybe what you're going to write are 2 things that make starting a lot easier. If you have like a desk or something that you write at, that you plan on writing at, make sure it's ready to go by the time you have set to write. If you are writing on an app, set it up ahead of time so that when you're ready to start, you're not wasting time just like figuring out what you're going to even write. And this also ties into like setting very low effort goals that make it easy to start because they don't seem as overwhelming. So just like, I'm gonna write 100 words, or I'm gonna write for 10 minutes while I drink my coffee in the morning. Something like that really doesn't take too much effort and that already fits into your schedule or your routine. What to write when you have no time or energy. If you are running on empty, focusing on smaller writing projects can really help you stay consistent. So things like journaling or short story writing prompts can really like give you something to focus on that you're not trying to plan around something else. Next up is to make your writing time special, because I am somebody who I love romanticizing things that I really don't feel like doing or that I'm like procrastinating doing. And a lot of the time writing tends to be one of those things. So when I'm in a funk, I don't feel like being creative, I might like jazz up my space, like dim the lights, light a candle, play some nice music, really just try to get the inspiration flowing. And the last tip I have for you today is to speak your stories. So we can speak a lot faster than we can write. So things like voice to text or dictating your story can really be a way to maximize your time. And this also is great because you can like multitask way easier. Like you can be meal prepping and writing your story, which is hard to do if you're actually typing it out. Anyway, those are all of the tips I have for you today. I hope you have gained something from this video, and I wish you well on whatever you are working on today in your life. Thank you so much for watching this video and spending some time with me, and I will see you in the next one.